Hey everyone! So up in my attic, I've got a lot of stuff stored away, and between a pile of old fishing rods, one dusty little spinning rod immediately caught my eye. Today, we're bringing this old relic back to life, restoring every tiny detail, and then taking it out to brand new places to see if it can still catch real fish. But for this rod to actually fish again, we need to rebuild it properly. Let's start assembling the spinning rod. Connect the two sections and lock them together with this nut right here. The thing is extremely dirty, and because it's made of aluminum, it's covered in deep scratches. The tip was bent, the guide rings are rusty, and one of them is completely broken off. The sections also wobble. There's a noticeable play between them. The reel, a mess. The line was tangled beyond saving, and when I spun the drum, I could literally hear the sand grinding inside. The rod was abandoned together with this old spoon lure, fully oxidized, hooks completely rusted. Alright, time to restore it. We remove this ring and take off the reel. The dried out fishing line gets cut with a scalpel. We won't need it anymore. Then we separate the rod sections again so we can work on them properly. First, let's restore the rod itself. We need to remove all the guide rings. They're held on by thread, so I cut it and take off the first ring easily. The remains of the broken one go too. One by one, all the guides come off. Now, to fix the deformation at the tip, I grab a gas torch and gently heat the metal, making it more pliable. While it's still warm, I place the tip on a small anvil in the vise and tap it lightly with a hammer, rotating the section as I go. And just like that, perfectly straight, no bending left. Time for cosmetic work. The section goes in the ease, and I grab sandpapers of different grits. Starting with a coarse grit, I wrap the sandpaper around the rod and carefully sand it down. The coarse grit levels the deep scratches but leaves sanding marks, so I switch to a medium grit to remove those. Then a fine grit for the final smooth finish. The thin section already looks great, but we still need to polish the handle section. The metal is shiny after sanding, but we want a factory level, actually better than factory, mirror finish. So we mount the polishing machine to the table, grab our metal polishing compounds, turn the wheel to medium speed, apply the yellow compound and start polishing. Then the second section. Yellow compound smooths the surface, blue brings the shine, and green removes the last micro imperfections. After wiping off the residue, the rod looks like pure chrome, no scratches anywhere. I tape off the polished part because next we're restoring the handle. Into a big container goes the handle, and I spray it with plastic cleaner. After a short soak, I scrub the dirt out and rinse it with water. It looks cleaner, but not good enough. Rough patches and faded plastic are still visible, so I take an abrasive pad and gently sand all the plastic surfaces. The defects disappear and the original texture stays intact. Next, I tape off the real seed area. We'll paint it later. I degrease everything else with anti-silicone and the handle is ready for paint. I'm using a khaki colored rubber coating, almost identical to the original shade. I brush it on. Rubberized paint sticks to anything, is easy to apply. and once dry, creates a grippy anti-slip surface. Then I cover the freshly painted areas. Grab a bright orange spray paint and repaint the real seat the original color. 2 coats, let it dry, remove the tape, and the handle looks flawless. Texture intact, grip improved. We're almost done with the rod, but there's still that annoying wobble between sections. We inspected the threads and found slight damage inside this nut, so we fix it using a tap from a thread repair kit, carefully turning in and out several times. The thread becomes crisp again and hopefully the play is gone for good. Now we refresh all the metal parts, the nut and the guide rings. We place everything into a jar filled with sand, bolt it into a drill, lock the trigger and let it spin for about an hour. The sand acts like a mini sandblasting machine. After an hour, corrosion is gone, but so is the shine. So we polish the parts with a rotary tool using the same compounds as before. They shine beautifully now. One ring is missing, so we make a new one from steel wire. Cut a piece, twist it 1.5 turns around a drill bit. Bend the ends outward, instant replacement ring. After polishing, it looks nearly identical to the originals. Time to attach them. A couple drops of super glue to position the ring. Then I secure it with doubled nylon thread wrapped tightly. Cut the thread. Pull the loose end under the wrap and lightly heat it with a lighter so it shrinks and locks the wrap in place. Don't forget to slide the nut onto the thin section before installing the rings there. Then I glue and wrap those too. After installing all the guides, the rod itself is fully restored. The sections fit tightly, the finish is flawless, and it honestly looks better than it did brand new. But the reel still needs a lot of work. We start disassembly, remove the black nut, take off the cover, and now the central shaft and ratchet mechanism are accessible. Everything is full of sand and the grease has basically evaporated. I remove 2 screws, take out the gears, and pull out the tiny bearings. All the parts go into a container and I spray them with brake cleaner. After brushing off the dirt, I rinse everything again until perfectly clean. Then I start restoring the appearance, sanding the metal part with progressively finer grits. And then polishing it with the rotary tool until it shines. The real housing has badly worn paint and rust spots, so we fixed that too. I apply paint stripper, spread it with a brush, wait for the reaction, and scrape off the bubbling paint with a wire brush. Once bare metal is exposed, I degrease it, apply 2 layers of primer, then finish with matte black enamel. After it dries, we reassemble the reel. Thick gear grease goes on all moving parts of the ratchet. A bit more on the shaft, bearings get pressed back into place and filled with fresh grease. gears go in, drum goes on the shaft, and that's it. The reel is restored. The ratchet sounds smoother, the lock works, and the whole mechanism spins effortlessly. Reattach it to the rod, and we're on the home stretch. We spool fresh line, thread it through the guides, tie a fluorocarbon leader, and finally restore the lure too. We remove the hook, sanded and polished the spoon. Attach new split rings and a new hook. Now it looks brand new again. And just like that, the entire restoration is complete. The rod looks better than new. Everything polished to mirror shine. Hard to believe the condition it was in before we started. Oh, and off camera, we even sewn a protective sleeve. The rod originally came with one. Time to test it. The next morning, we packed everything into the car and drove hundreds of kilometers to a huge bay. Perfect season for predators. The rod is assembled, everything ready. I cast about 15 meters, not bad for an old rod. On one cast I thought I snagged something, but nope, it was a bite. A tiny fish almost the size of the lure. Back it goes. Another cast. Another hit. This time the fish is a little bigger. Walking along the shore, I spotted an abandoned fishing boat. Definitely been sitting there for years. We bailed the water out. Added a second seat. Pushed it into the water and I climbed in with the rod. I will use a long stick as an oar. I sailed away from the shore and the boat didn't sink, which means I'll be fishing right from it. Out in the middle of the bay, I kept casting. And caught a larger fish first. Then another one shortly after. Mission accomplished. The rod works perfectly, handles fish easily, and is clearly meant for bigger catches. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you in the next one.